Live from the Mainstream Cannabis Media Empire, I'm Travis Lippert, CEO of Veedverks Unlimited Limited, better known as Veedverks.
I'm Michael Miller, International Marketing Director for PanaceaLife.com, CBD manufacturer, soon to be in Boulder, Colorado. Looking forward to that move.
It's a gigantic facility. It's amazing.
Yes, yeah.
It's a former EPA building.
Right.
I didn't know I was in the right place when I pulled up.
Yeah. We hope that, you consider coming aboard, in our Center of Excellence side of the building.
I will.
Yeah.
I would like to.
Yeah, we'll definitely talk about that.
And today we have with us the one and only Bob Eschino from Medically Correct, best known for their brand Incredibles.
Right.
You're the largest infused. Is that right? You're the largest.
We're the largest chocolate company in the state. I think second largest edibles company in the state. So,
how many states are you in now?
Right now, 5.
Right. That would be Nevada.
Nevada, Oregon, Illinois, Colorado, Puerto Rico.
That's fantastic.
Thank you.
And I tell you what, viewers, go try that Boulder bar, or absolutely my favorite. I'm addicted to it. I'm gonna have to go to CA, Cannabis Anonymous, because of the strawberry one. Oh my goodness gracious.
Mm-hmm.
Tasty.
Yeah.
That was one of the original, both of those original flavors that we came out with 9 years ago.
Almost every Friday on my way home, I stop at Native Roots to pick them up. That's my weekend, watching movies, going out and having fun and relaxing.
Well, we've got some new products that'll be coming out here in 2019 that will hopefully impress you.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Can you elaborate or no?
Not yet.
Okay.
We're close.
All
We're close, but not yet.
You heard it here. Breaking news.
Breaking
in
news.
the very near future.
Something is going to happen.
Something big.
Thanks for joining LS Love. Julie Richardson's tuned in here. I'm going to try and do a good job. Brian Rainwater, thanks for joining. I'm going to try and do a good job of reading questions that people post while we're live.
I love that.
Oh, perfect.
Because I know that there are people out there with questions for you.
Oh, absolutely. You know what? I don't know if I do it wrong or whatever, but when I'm watching your shows from my office or whatever, it doesn't give me the ability to make a remark or a comment.
Huh.
There's no box there.
That's weird.
Know. Yeah. So
I don't know.
We're going to have to find out.
We'll have to figure
Find a
that out.
12-year-old kid to help you. That's what I
know. Yeah.
Any teenagers around here going to help me work my computers?
I know. That's so true. That's so true.
So could you give us a background about, number one, what you did before the cannabis industry, but also how you got into the cannabis industry, or why?
Yeah, it's interesting. So I've talked to a number of people just in the last couple of weeks, and I'm finding myself saying this over and over again. Almost everybody I know has a story, right? Why they got here, and none of them are I came in for the money, right?
Right.
I used to own a packaging distribution company before I got into the cannabis industry, and I sold packaging to everybody in the state. From pharmaceutical manufacturers to car parts to food processing. And Rick, my current partner now, was one of my customers then.
Oh, was he really?
Yeah, he was running one of the largest bakeries here in Colorado, and I sold them packaging. So we had always talked about, kind of a little side business, and it always revolved around food because we had access to this giant bakery. And about, is it close to 10 years ago now? Nice. My brother started making edibles for my grandmother.
Right.
She was at the end of her life, and the pharmaceuticals that she was taking really weren't helping anymore. And, she was in a lot of pain, and she couldn't sleep, and, she had arthritic joints, and she didn't have an appetite. And he started making infused cookies for her. Mm-hmm. And that's when I saw it work. Right? That's when I looked at it and went, holy crap, it's medicine, right? Mm-hmm. It's really not just something that the hippies say so they can smoke weed legally. Right. And, and once again, I was never afraid of cannabis. I grew up with cannabis. I consumed cannabis most of my adult life. And, but it was always a recreational drug. Right. But, learning what I've learned over the last 9 years, even if you think you're doing it recreationally, you're getting health benefits. Your body's finding something in there that it needs. And that's why you're attracted to it. That's why you like it. But, seeing it work truly from a medicinal aspect, right, with someone who wasn't using it to get high, but was using it and it was helping with pain. It was helping her sleep. It was stimulating her appetite. That really opened my eyes to just the possibilities, right? So we started doing some research, and as I asked around, edibles were the scariest thing on the market 10 years ago, right? Everybody was so afraid of them because they were so inconsistent. Nobody knew what they were getting. It was, you would try an edible from a company one week, you were fine.
Right.
The same edible from the same company the following week, you were over medicated, you couldn't drive for 2 days.
Right.
Yeah.
So, Rick and I really started looking at ways that we could consistently medicate an edible, right? And do it time and time again. And that's Rick's specialty. Rick's specialty was perfecting a recipe, duplicating it 20,000 times a day, right? That's what he did for a living. So that's how we kind of came into the industry, and finding out people didn't test. Like, okay, you test your oil? No, you don't test. Like, how do you not test your oil? It's the most important thing you're putting in your product.
Right.
Do you know what you're...
Yeah. Wow.
It was the simple things that we looked at 10 years ago, and it was like, wow, there's such an opportunity to do this the right way, and treat it like medicine and food, and to package it properly, and to put nutritional facts on it, demarcation, consistency.
Right.
And that's how we started. That was the mindset, and it's still our mindset. It's, we want to treat this as food and medicine. My job is to make cannabis palatable. Right. That's really it. It's we've become an extract company over the last 9 years. That's really what we're good at. Once you make a good extract, kind of the possibilities are endless. But, when you're putting it in your mouth, people want it to taste palatable, right? They don't want that hashy flavor anymore. They don't want, what we had 10 years ago. They want to. It's so funny, right? The stuff that really set us apart for the last 9 years is now entry level to get into the industry, right? If you can't accurately dose your products, if you don't test everything, if you don't package it properly, if you don't label it properly, you can't get a license. You can't be in the industry, right? So those were the things that the foundation that we built our company on, right? And it's nice to see not only Colorado but the rest of the country adopting these standards. But we still have to continue to innovate, which is what I was saying. It's 2019's going to be a big year for us, because we've got to stay on the front side of that curve and kind of keep ourselves relevant in the market.
Well, you're relevant, that's for sure.
Thank you.
And hopefully we'll find out what's coming up in 2019. We'll have to have him back on the show for that.
I hope it's that
I'll bring a goodie bag.
Yes.
I hope it involves hemp. That you guys could destroy it. You guys.
I have been watching what's going on in the hemp market. I still tell people I think hemp will eventually kind of dwarf,
cannabis.
There is just so many possibilities with a thriving hemp market, right? So, the Farm Bill was a good step. Maybe I don't know. It's so hard to.
Seems like opinions are pretty.
Sharply
divided. I don't know about evenly
divided. I think people were sold a bill of goods, right? And I think, you're seeing, hey, hemp and CBD are legal.
No.
Not according to the paperwork, not according to what I'm seeing, not according to, but that's the problem with all of these, kind of official government documents. There's so much room for interpretation, right? And, we're still playing in a gray area. Everybody is stuck in this gray area. We've been stuck in this gray area for 9 years now in the legal, regulated cannabis market. It is still so gray. CBD and hemp really hasn't gotten much better, right? We've taken a step. I kind of equate the Farm Bill to House Bill 1284, right? There's some basic rules starting to come. We're not sure what those rules are going to look like, but a framework and a set of rules is coming, right? At the federal level for hemp. Is that going to include CBD and CBD food, right? Because what I'm seeing is you're not supposed to put CBD in anything. It's legal to grow hemp, but you can't put CBD in anything still, right? So I guess we'll kind of see how things unfold.
I think it might have been a step in the right direction, but I guess we'll find out when they start talking about rules and regulations and how they want to roll it out.
In my opinion, at least it's descheduled.
Yes.
And we've basically been not thumbing our noses at, but at least vehemently disagreeing with letters put out by the DEA. And the FDA has busted people now, way prior to the Farm Bill being passed for, having unapproved products making medical claims. making unsubstantiated
well, that's
medical
that's
claims.
still the issue. That's the issue even in the THC market, right? Somebody just sent me, hey, look at my website. I looked at the website. I went, oh, dude, really? I'm like, you really? I'm like, everything you're saying in that website shouldn't be said, right? I mean, you are making so many health claims. I'm going to ship you this stuff and it's going to fix everything from A to Z. I'm like, wow. I look at that and go, if it was me, I would stop, right? Because
100%.
You were putting your neck way out there at this point, right? And that's coming from a guy who's been pushing the envelope for 10 years, right? So I guess view your source, people, right? And like, I try to be conservative and follow the rules, but I know I'm pushing the envelope. We all are, right? We're all kind of out here on the fringe. And I like, we've got a CBD company, right? I've got a CBD company. It's finally starting to get a little traction here in the state, and we've talked about it because we talked about doing some business. And for 2 years, we would get really close, and then, someone at the federal level would say something and we go, whoa, we're not going to do anything with CBD. And, we did that for 2 years, and finally we went, we've got to start pushing the envelope a little bit. And once again, Colorado set up a framework where if it's grown here in the state and we, can inspect the product in the kitchen and it's certified and you're not shipping it over state lines, I'm like, okay, once again, here's a little framework that we can feel confident selling CBD products here in Colorado. So that's what we're doing. And it's baby steps and, but it's still, it's a very kind of strange part of the market, right? And it's part of my focus, but it's not our main focus. And I don't necessarily want to risk what we're doing here on the THC side.
You always have
with
that.
just CBD. If I'm just a CBD company and that's all I have and it's all I have to lose, hey, have at it, right? You know the risks, you know what you're doing. But for us, it's our main focus has been the regulated cannabis market for so long, and CBD only is a part of that. But it's still it's a part of it.
The chocolate cherry CBD bar, ridiculous! Ridiculous! You got to go buy them today.
Justin Duncan, Doc Hollywood. Thank you for tuning in, sharing it. Jason Lopez, Jenny Gold, Team Jenny Gold. Go to Jenny. Will you please post your go fund me?
Yes.
And Larry Reed that's awesome. See,
great episode.
Was it that so Larry's got a question. Was it that you can't put CBD in food, or you can't make a claim that it will do anything health wise? I need glasses.
I think any cannabinoids right now, you can't make any health claims, right? Period. Whether CBD, THC, CBN, I don't think we're allowed to make any sort of health claims. Period. But according to the Farm Bill, right? I believe there's a section that says you still can't adulterate food, right? If I'm reading it correctly, and people I have not read, I've read snippets of the Farm Bill, right? I have not read the Farm Bill, but from the things I am seeing, I believe you still can't put CBD into food, and and it's okay. But once again,
it will be.
What does that mean, and what's going to happen? I have no idea.
Well, we're really blessed to be in Colorado. It's very, it's cannabis friendly, CBD friendly. As long as I think you play by the rules and, the CBD product, you don't put cures cancer or this or that. I think, it's a safe place, safe haven for our industry.
And once again, Colorado has given us a framework. Right? They've given us the rules. You want to sell CBD food products in Colorado, here's the framework to follow. All right. It was just like House Bill 1284. Here's the rules to sell legal cannabis in the state. Okay. And as a businessman, I went, okay, well, here's rules I can follow. We're really good at following rules. I'm not going to break these rules. I'm going to, do this every time. And as long as I'm doing that, I shouldn't get in trouble in the state of Colorado. Right. So that was kind of the jumping off point for us. Because really up until then, it was obviously a scary crapshoot, right? You didn't know what was coming and what was going to happen. But, with a framework of actual rules that if you follow them, you shouldn't be getting in trouble. Okay. That gave us kind of the little push we needed to really jump into the industry with both feet.
I find that packaging is one of the biggest challenges. that we face. It's we're always trying to not have too much packaging on the shelf, and but at the same time we can never run out of it. And it's you know, we get kind of elaborate with our packaging, so we've got a bunch of different items to track. How do you think that your background in packaging has helped you as a company expand?
For me, it's been about as frustrating as humanly possible, right? Because
love the answer.
Well, it is, because
Right.
I know that there are so many amazing, beautiful options, right, in the packaging world, and we can't use 98% of them because it has to be child resistant, right? You know, for years, I just sat there and went, who'd ever have thought you needed a child resistant bag for a chocolate bar, right? It's really just like everything else in the industry. Packaging's a part of that. We're building the plane while we're flying.
Yeah.
Right. We had to do all of this stuff ourselves. And, you know, 8-9 years ago, nobody would work with us. And if they found out you were cannabis, you were getting fired the next week, right? From ingredient makers to packaging suppliers to insurance companies to banks to, things would come out of left field and be like, what? You're firing me? You know,
For what?
Yeah, it's like I'm a legal business here in the state of Colorado and I can't buy apple juice from you. Really? Right? I mean, just ridiculous things like that have been happening for almost a decade now. But, you know, with packaging especially, and we've tried it ourselves, right? As a packaging guy, I have tried to invent my own child-resistant packaging options, and we've gotten two things, you know, almost to the finish line. You know, one of them we spent like $80,000 on, and it failed. You know, it failed the final round of testing. You know, so we just opted for an off the shelf option that was there, and we muddled by with that for a while. And you know, and we've worked on something else. The problem is you know, we worked on a child resistant hemp made plastic, you know, child resistant chocolate bar container. It's just too expensive.
Right.
Yeah.
Right? That's the thing. It's too expensive, and at least the Colorado market, prices are going down. And so, you know, it's hard to invest a lot in really anything. You know, I mean, people find out you're in the cannabis industry and your price doubles for everything, right? From, you know, doesn't matter what it is, like, oh, cannabis, yeah, here's the cannabis price list.
It could be a car. It could be a car.
Yeah,
it doesn't matter. Cannabis industry. No, it wasn't 19,900. It was 29,000.
I was like, oh, you wanted wheels with that? Oh, yeah. You got some upcharges. And here's your air freshener to keep the
I like how you
going.
seal your candy bars. I like that. The tray.
Oh, the new tray?
And the
Yeah.
pullback.
And that, you know, that project's been going on for 2 years.
Yeah.
We were finally able to get that moving, right?
Right.
And still, it's. Are we happy with it? No. You know, it's you know, it's a very acceptable. It's better than where we were, but is that really where we're going to end up? I don't know.
Yeah.
But
I think it's better than the clear bag.
yeah. Oh,
You know?
people hated the bag. I hated the bag. I'm sorry.
God,
You know that.
Yeah.
It was so hard to open, hard to display, hard to use, hard to, you know.
Yeah.
That was hey, here's a temporary fix that lasted 3-4 years, right?
Yeah.
While we tried to come up with better options.
Right.
You know, it's there's just not a lot of real options, you know, and I see cool stuff coming out, and it just, you know, it's price, it's efficiency, it's, you know, cost for the equipment to get in, right? You know, you, there's some stuff out there like geared towards the pharmaceutical industry. You know, you can look at that, and you know, you're talking couple $100,000 in some cases for, you know, for these pieces of equipment. And God, it's like, I don't have the space, right? Nor do I have the access to the capital to buy that. And they won't lease to me because I'm a cannabis company that, you know, and, you know, some of these things are, they're so fast, you know, people always talk about automated equipment. I keep up with our manufacturing with semi-automated equipment, right? If I went and dropped $500,000 on an automated chocolate, you know, piece of equipment, it would sit idle half the month, right? I mean, you pump out so many products so quickly, and you know, we're making small batches because of testing, and you know, we're really, because the fact that we can't ship out of the state, we can't grow like normal businesses, right? If I could export out of the state, and all of these states where I mean, you know, there's states where I've got deals signed. We're just waiting because they have to build a kitchen, and then we have to do that, you know. And it's like, it's years in some cases to get, you know, facilities up and running
Sure.
where if I could ship over state lines, I would buy a $500,000 piece of equipment and I would pump out bars that I could ship all over the country.
Sure.
But I can't, right? And you know, due to the fact I've got to set up my kitchen in every state I operate in, I can't put a $500,000 piece of equipment in every one of these kitchens, right? So it's you know, in some ways we're just still this little baby infant industry, right? We're trying to get bigger and better, but the handcuffs that are put on us really prevent us from moving forward and growing like we should, right? And that's the frustrating part. Seeing what's happening in Canada, seeing what's happening in Mexico, seeing what's happening all over the world.
Sure.
You know, I forget who I was talking to, but it pisses me off that our investment dollars are going to Canada, right? I mean, you've got all these giant corporations investing billions of dollars in companies, and it's not us, right? It's going to a country that started years after Colorado, right? Who is behind the curve as far as I'm concerned. And, you know, our investment dollars are going there, and it's because we can't get out of our own way here, right? And the federal government hasn't stepped up and put some sort of federal framework and embraced what's going on in the country when, what do you got? 85% of the people approving medical cannabis, 65% of the people approving cannabis as a recreational drug, and most politicians have a 25 to 30% approval rating, right? So I'm sorry, it's double, you know, it's double the popularity of any individual, 100%. But they're all keeping it at bay, right? As the rest of the world just moves past us so quickly, and it's frustrating to see those dollars that should be coming here, right? That should be staying in the U.S., that should be building this market here. It's frustrating to watch it go somewhere else.
I agree. Yeah, I can't believe some of these acquisitions or these, like Altria. First of all, when they bought that big chunk of a Corona, or was it Kronos?
Corona?
No, I think it was Kronos. Some big Canadian, I believe, marijuana company.
Correct.
Like, they're not even doing the hemp.
Right.
But then when they bought a huge chunk of Juul, it really, I mean, they've got big plans for this. Marlboro does. Altria does.
100%.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
We knew it was coming, right? I mean, we knew it was coming. We've been waiting for it, but we thought it would always come here, right? We always thought that those dollars would flow into the U.S. market, and they're not. They're flowing outside of this country, and that's the frustrating part for for me as a business owner. Because I would love to have access to capital. I would love to be able to expand. I'd love to be able to buy the buildings that I pump millions of dollars into, right? And, we're still limping along, right?
Well, Donald Trump, I know you're watching. You're a regular of our show. Come on, you're a capitalist. Isn't he?
Yeah, let's do this.
Do that, and I guarantee you, your ratings will go up a point.
We're getting a bad deal.
A point. I guarantee you.
At least one.
At least one.
Maybe that's why he called that television show tonight. Whatever he's going to do.
Yeah, I think it's going to be for the wall. Too bad we can't have the Sensei Fox on at the same time.
That would be hilarious.
Have both
of them comment. Yeah, that'd be a fun show.
I'm going to be driving. I'm going to the Kansas Department of Agriculture is having a meeting tomorrow at 10 o'clock in Manhattan, Kansas. Nice. And I want to grow some hemp there. But the thing is, every time I drive across Kansas now, since that one time when that cop pulled me over
for no reason
for my license plate, so last night I had to get my all.
True. Have you seen this? This is incredible.
Yeah, so I'm gonna put my Kansas.
You pay for that there?
Not really?
Yeah.
It
doesn't keep you out of jail.
No.
But what it does, it lowers the fine.
Yeah, I'm just gonna keep it right in front of my license. It's a Kansas drug tax stamp. It's this big scam they've got going.
And it comes in what, 10?
10 up to, I think they have $1,000 versions.
Now, if you get pulled over for 3.5 grams, it's what?
I think it just somehow.
Is that seriously just like
is that ridiculous?
Save half off your fine by prepaying the fine? Is that really what that is?
Kind of.
Holy crap. Wow,
Kansas.
what a scam.
I'm telling you.
So I was expecting them to search my car last time, and they didn't get to it. So this time,
let's show them.
I'm going to bring Dieter, the Veedverks Halloween
ghost
salesperson / ghost.
Yeah.
And
are you really letting them out?
I'm going to bring this.
It took us hours to get them back in.
So if they and if you guys have seen the Halloween special, you know what it requires to cut that open.
You know you're getting if you get pulled over, they're going you know they're opening that no matter what. Even if a dog says it's clean, they're opening it.
Then it's totally worth it.
Yeah, I know. I love it.
It's wasting their time. They're wasting your time.
I'll be going the speed limit. I'll be using my turn signal just like I was last time. And I don't think that you ought to get pulled over driving on I-70 for a Colorado license plate. I think that is wrong. Yeah. We know people who that has directly hurt in other states.
Sure.
And in Kansas. And I'm just
funny how they complain about the increase of tickets, like, because you choose to just randomly pull everybody over, right? And like, law-abiding citizens not breaking the law get pulled over, and then they complain that it's extra work. Really, stop. Just stop. Yeah, you're creating your own problem.
Yeah, we're not hearing that anymore.
Yeah.
What's what's the hardest lesson that you care to share that you've learned in business? Like, what's the biggest
business in general?
That was well with it,
there are so many interesting lessons in the cannabis space, and I think a lot of it just revolves around the lack of access, right? We have to build multi-million-dollar companies with both hands tied behind our backs, right?
And no money. Or little money.
No access to capital. Right. 280E, constant rules and regulation changes. It is a moving target.
280E for people who are less knowledgeable about it. Would you explain the tax difficulties?
Yeah, basically we can't have tax write-offs. That's it in a nutshell, right? I think it came back in the 1980s somewhere. There was a cocaine dealer.
South Florida.
Yeah, cocaine dealer was writing off his Ferrari and
everything.
And he did everything properly, and it pissed off the IRS so bad because he did it properly and they couldn't come after him, so they threw 280E in and said if you're doing something federally illegal, you can't have any tax write-offs.
Right.
So we're stuck in there, right? Because even though we're legal here in Colorado, we're not legal federally, which, it prevents us from getting banking, access to capital, loans, and then, our effective tax rate is double to triple what normal businesses pay. And people just don't understand that, right? They don't understand that we face that constantly, right? And as businesses in the space, if you're doing well, you're growing exponentially. Every dollar you get to keep has to go back in to fund your growth. Right?
Absolutely.
And there is no money. There is no, I'm still driving a used car. It's the perception of who we are to the general public, right?
Yeah.
And the reality of what we are as business people are two completely different things.
Absolutely. It's amazing how many times I've heard, where someone is talking about our industry and they want to open up a company to become rich. And they have no clue the difficulty. It's one of the most difficult industries to be in to turn a profit. And if you want to grow and scale, it's amplified 2, 3, 5 times more.
Well, that's why they've asked me to not speak anymore, because I've gone to investor summits and people just because I tell them the truth, right?
Don't invest.
And people leave just kicked in the teeth. I'm like, I'm sorry, I thought you wanted me to tell people what's actually going on in the industry, not sell them a bill of goods. And I tell people, look, I tell people all the time, if you're getting into this industry because you want to make money, you're not going to make it, right? You're not going to be here. You have to find another reason to, and that's why almost everybody I know has another reason, right? And for me now, it's the patience. It truly is. I mean, when I get, and I spent almost an hour on the phone last night with one of our patients' moms, and it's like that's the shit that really makes it all worthwhile. Because it's not the money, it's not it's not what we're doing nuts and bolts. It's the success we're having behind the scenes. It's watching the people use cannabis, right? And I kept telling her, and I'll probably get shot by my partners, I really don't care if it's my products. I don't, right? I know there's other great products out there. You know
yeah,
what? If you're
definitely.
having success with cannabis, share it, right? And it doesn't have to be my products. It's I want to see people.
Yes, it does. But anyways,
That's what she kept saying. I'm like, I appreciate that. She's
Yes.
like, your product is
Incredibles,
like,
Incredibles,
thank you, I
Incredibles.
appreciate that.
No,
They're
And
great
that's
products.
a beautiful thing
we-
that you're saying, though.
We
It's
try
honest.
to put out products that we can be proud of and that we stand behind, and you know, that we really think will make a difference, right? And the fact that they are making a difference and they are working for people, and everybody's different, right? People, what should I do? I have no idea, right? You should experiment until you find what's right for you. That's what you should do. Because I know people who take 2 milligrams a day. I know people who take 2,000 milligrams a day.
Yeah.
Right.
And I know everybody in between. So there is no one size fits all in the cannabis space, and everybody seems to be a little bit different, right? But you know, listening to her tell me the success that she's been having, and I think her son is like 13 weeks seizure free, right? And went to his doctor who, for LGS, which is what he has, the kids don't get better. They're not seizure free ever, right? And this doctor's like, holy crap, what are you doing? And he's on no pharmaceuticals, and you know, she's doing this all with a plant, right? I'm like, that's the story you need to be sharing, and you know, you need to get this doctor on board to do more research, because everything's anecdotal, right? I mean,
Sure.
You know, I was supposed to have a call yesterday with a guy who was like, well, you know, where are your reports? Where's your science? There is no science. I can tell you what, we did a lot of research internally. Then we, you know, kind of broadened our circle externally for these products, and everybody said they were great and they had great responses. So we brought them to market, right? And we get a good response from the market. So I'm assuming it's working, right? That's as good as we get, because there was no double-blind study. There was no 5-year study. There was, you know, there's a whole bunch of people who said they loved these products and it really helped them. So now we're offering them to the general public, and we're seeing what the feedback is. Some products work great. Some products take off. Some products don't. Right? And I'm okay with that, but that's kind of our evidence.
I think part of the pushback still today is what you alluded to a minute ago was it's a plant. We can grow it. We can grow it anywhere. You can grow it in your house, and it's got the pharmaceutical companies and Wall Street just scared. It just does, until hopefully they see the benefit themselves, and one day they'll come in and own a lot of it.
It had them scared in 1937.
Yeah,
they saw the benefits in That's why they made it go away in 1937. Right? We've been fighting that ever since.
Right.
It hasn't changed, right? The companies that were built because of the fact that hemp and cannabis weren't around anymore, they were the ones who started the prohibition back then, right? So it hasn't stopped. It hasn't gotten any better, and we're still fighting the same battle. We're getting better at it. There's, you know, I think a lot of that is due to the things like the internet, and you know, you just can't stifle all the information anymore,
and all the facts,
and all the
really
facts, all the success. I tell people constantly, there is not one thing that anybody can tell me that would not make me believe that cannabis is one of the most therapeutic plants on the planet. Period. I see it every day. I see it all the time. I see people reach out to me constantly and tell me the success they're having. I sat down with a guy last week who, I think like 6 months ago, I shared his story, right? His uncle has Parkinson's disease, and he started using our 1 to 10, you know, and within 4 weeks, the guy who couldn't hold a pen can sign his name. He can get up, he can walk again. He said it's completely changed his life, to the point where this guy said, I have to meet you, because he came into town a week ago, and he's like, how do I get involved? I'm like, is it legal in your state? Well, no, not yet. You want to get involved? Take your uncle to the Capitol and sit in front of the people who make the rules and say, this is medical cannabis. This is what it's done for him. Make this legal here so we can get this to everybody else in the state. That's how you start, right? And once you get it legal in your state, then you can create an industry in your state. But it's, you know, it's baby steps. But those success stories can't stop with me, right? You have to share that story with everybody you can to break the stigma and to get people going, holy crap, right? Because it happened to me 10 years ago, and I've watched it happen to people for the last 10 years. When you see it work, nothing can change your mind that it doesn't work anymore, right? It's no longer bullshit, you know, that you've heard from whoever, right? You see it with your own two eyes and go, oh my God, right? Yeah. There is something here. And even if it's just one person, in fact, that's plenty for me, but I see it all the time.
Same here.
Yeah.
Right.
It's tough to imagine being in a different industry at this point, because
I can't imagine.
Once you know what this plant really will do for people and the potential, not just in terms of health, but even in terms of the environment. And I mean, it's tough to imagine selling, I don't know, Kool-Aid or something next. Like I don't know how I could find something else that I truly believe in like this.
And be that passionate about.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Yeah.
It's you get the passion, right? Yeah. Once you see it, you can't put the genie back in the bottle, and it's like you feel compelled to do something, and to keep going. And the more success I see, the more it just drives us to move forward and you know, expand what we're doing here and try to get, you know, what we're doing to as many people as possible, shorten the learning curve in new states, right? To get good products to patients, you know, to come up with new and innovative delivery methods, right? Which is what we're trying to do. We've got so many different ways to consume cannabis now.
Absolutely.
You know, those are the things we work on, and because I'm a firm believer that everybody can find something, right? Everybody can find. Like I said, I take it now as a vitamin, right? It's just every day. CBD, THC, take it every day. It's a vitamin. It's a supplement. Your body needs it. That has been proven. Yeah, every cell in your body's looking for cannabinoids. Okay, there's a reason, right? We're pretty complex, you know, organisms. And if there wasn't a reason for us to have it, well, why the hell would every cell in my body be looking for it?
You know, if there's a God, 100%, he put this plant on the earth for us to use.
We used it for thousands of years.
Exactly.
It's only been off the market in the United States for 80 years, and it really hasn't been, right? Anybody who needed it could get it.
Yeah.
That's what I tell people now, and it's like everybody who wants to consume cannabis in your state has cannabis. Right? Whether it's legal or not. So stop that right now. We're not creating a cannabis market by legalizing cannabis in your state. What you're doing is creating jobs. You're regulating that market. You're making it safer. You're making the products better. Right? You're creating tax revenue
in your state.
Yeah, you're not creating a whole subsection of new cannabis consumers. Right? It's starting to grow. You're finding people now who are less afraid of it, and oh my God, my neighbor, you know, all of her aches and pains are gone because she's been taking, you know, 3 milligrams of cannabis every day. I'm going to try it. Right? It's like I see that. Watching the light bulb go on for people over the age of 60, right? You know, and my aunts and my uncles, and
I love
people be like,
I love
oh wow, right? Like, you know,
they start posting articles to you on Facebook. Did you know? Did you know that the U.S. government has a patent on cannabinoids as neuroprotectants and antioxidants? It's patent number 6630507.
You need the black pen.
Google it. When people post that, I'm like,
I had a friend come in and was, I don't know, aches and pains, right? It's like, well, we got a 1 to 10, 1 milligram of THC, 10 milligrams of CBD. Here you go. His back hurts. Take that. You know, and he's like, he's drinking beer going, you know, I don't want to get high. I'm like,
I know.
Yeah, I'm like, here, take this. You know, a couple hours later, how's your back feel? Wow, it feels really good. Yeah. Okay. You know, I have trouble sleeping. Here you go. Take one of these before you go to bed. See you in the morning. How'd you sleep? Wow, I slept great. How's your knee feel? Holy crap. It feels great. I'm like, you know where to find me. Right? It's like, if you have more questions, let me know. You know, it's watching people just, you know, the light bulb starts you know, it's like, oh crap, did that really work? Wow, I think it might have worked. Yeah, it kind of worked. So
there's just no going back. I heard that before I made the decision to get into this space. I heard it was a one-way trip, that you'll never get a job in the legit industry again. Right? But I mean, I think that I don't want a job in one of those industries. I want to do this.
The industry is going to become legit around us.
Yes.
That's our job. Our job right now is to make the industry legit around us. And It's something I say whenever I go speak to people. You're not creating a company. You're helping to build an industry, right? So you need to do things the right way,
Right.
all the time, right? You need to follow the rules of your state because you're building an industry. And if, like I keep saying, if California doesn't get their shit together, right, they're going to make the entire industry look bad. You know, California has to step up and put a good regulated cannabis market in play, right? Because it's going to help the rest of the country move forward, right? If they can't do it correctly, it's going to damage what everybody else has been able to do, right? So, you know, if you're coming into the industry, you got to do the right thing because you're building an industry, and people have gone to jail to put us in the position we're in.
100%.
My job is to not fuck that up, right? And I take that very seriously.
Yes.
I am not going to screw up the opportunity, right, that I have been given by people who have sacrificed everything to get the ball to this point, right? I'm picking it up and I'm helping it, you know, move forward down the field. And that's my job. And I have to do that responsibly, and I have to do that the right way. And I have to make sure that I'm putting the industry first, right? And helping the industry grow and my company underneath that umbrella, right? And everybody getting into this space has to have that same mentality. And those are the things 100%. I say when I speak.
Yep.
If you're not here for the right reasons, don't be here.
Right.
If you're here to make a quick buck, you're not going to, but don't be here, right? Because you're going to get frustrated, and then you're going to find yourself getting desperate and trying to make a fast buck. And the way to make a fast buck when you have a whole bunch of cannabis sitting on your shelves is to do something illegal, right? So the temptation is too great. So if you're not here for the right reasons, right? If you don't have the right mentality and you don't see the end game, and it's a long game, right? I don't know if it could be 6 months. I have no idea, right? But I've been here for 10 years,
right? And
I thought 10 years ago, 5 years it's going to be federally legal.
We all,
You know, I mean, every year it's like next year, hey, next year.
7 years ago we used to say 5 years.
Everybody, yay, 2019. You know, who knows when it's going to happen? But you just got to continue to be patient and keep doing the right things and take these baby steps every day and, you know, follow the rules and be part of the rule making. That's the one thing I try to enforce when I speak is be part of the problem. If you're not sitting at the table when they're making rules, people are making rules for you, right? And 9 times out of 10, they're not going to be something you're going to be happy with. So you need to get involved. You need to be there when the rules are being made. You need to be on the work groups. You need to be part of the process because those are the rules that not only affect you, it affects the industry. So, you know, I want to make sure that other states are putting good rules and regulations in place, you know, not only so companies like mine can expand, but so the industry flourishes in their state. Because if you put bad rules in place, you kill it. You know, Illinois is a perfect example. Everybody had to spend so much money and then they gave them no patience.
Right.
How many people went bankrupt waiting for patience, right?
A lot.
I went to Hawaii. It's like, you have to grow indoors. Electricity is the most expensive thing. You got a very low plant count, and there's a lot of, it's like, hey, you've killed it. It's already dead. You're not even out of the freaking gate, and you've killed the industry already because you've put so many restrictions on it, and you've made it so expensive to get into the industry. Now everybody's fighting over these 5,000 patients, right? You've got to give it the ability to succeed, right? And you know, a lot of regulators just don't know what they don't know, right? It's your job to teach them, right? It's your job to point them in the right direction and
help reprogram them.
Explain why this is a bad idea. And, you know, we're not a normal industry, right? We're not. We don't have access to capital. I can't go get a loan if I don't make payroll this week. I can't, right? It's like I have to make payroll every. It's you know, so you can't give me $200,000 in licensing fees every year. It's going to kill the company. Sorry. There's not enough patience to support that. I forget where I was, but I figured it out. It's like every dispensary needed to get $500 from every potential patient every year just to pay for their licensing fees. So, and there was like 40 dispensaries. So it's like, okay, all 40 of these have to get $500 each out of you just to pay their licensing fees to stay in business, right? That's before they even sell you a product. They have to get $500 out of you just to keep their doors open. I'm like, wow, I don't see how that can be successful.
States being greedy as hell.
Yeah, they're killing the golden goose.
Right? Absolutely. I think they just don't realize that, whether it's Illinois or whatever. All 50 states has a robust marijuana black market. Yeah. Even Colorado, there's a black market here. If you don't implement the right strategy as far as the state, you're going to.
Well, that's our competition.
Yeah.
That's what I tell. Our competition is the black market.
Yeah.
Because the guy buying cannabis in your state right now, if you don't have a legal regulated market, he's still got that guy's number when you make a legal regulated market. And if you don't make it appealing for him to go into a dispensary and buy cannabis, if you don't make it affordable for him to do that, he's been buying it illegally for 20 years.
Right here.
He's
Florida.
going to continue to buy it illegally. You've got to give him the right products, quality products at a good price, right? I tell people, I equate it back to alcohol. The reason you don't have a still in your backyard is because you can walk down the street, buy any color, flavor, potency, size you want for cheap. Right? For cheap, which seems counterintuitive to the people making the rules. Oh, we can't make this so cheap anybody can get it. Yes, that's what you have to do. You have to make it so cheap anybody can get it.
Or grow it.
To kill the black market, or grow it yourself. But if you want the illegal part of the industry to go away, you have to take the incentive out of it. You have to take the monetary incentive out of the black market. If you're doing all this work and risking your freedom for what basically equates to a minimum wage job, you're not going to do it, right? You're not.
Not when you put it like that.
Yeah, you're not. Seriously, if I'm growing illegal weed and selling it and I'm making $15 an hour, I'd rather go flip burgers than wherever, right? But that's where you have to get to, and that's why. The fact that it's not legal across the country, and there's still the incentive to grow stuff here or wherever and take it somewhere else because you can double your money. We've got to hurry up and get that out of the equation, right? We have to make it legal. We have to start being able to export it. You have to start being able to move it around the country legally, right? So we can actually start building some factories that give us some efficiencies, right? To start driving the price down so we can start growing big crops somewhere, right? And start processing that into oil and start shipping oil all over the country so we can manufacture just like every other industry, right? So we can start getting some efficiencies to drive the prices down. And then it becomes a real business, right? Then I'm a real boy, right? So we have to get there at some point, and hey, maybe 2019's our year. 2019, it's going to be our year.
You know what? It's still a ways. Yeah, I mean, even if Trump executive ordered decriminalizing marijuana, states are going to really protect its own for a while.
That's how we could pay for the wall.
There we go.
Yeah.
I mean, they're nice, healthy excise tax on.
No, we have a wall tax. Really. I think I'm going to be upset if I got a wall tax on every one of my.
Not suggesting that that's how anything should be done, but
we need to put Vicente Fox in the position of that movement. For the wall tax.
The wall tax.
I'm ready.
Yeah. I'm on the phone with them tomorrow.
Nice.
Yeah.
How are things in Mexico?
I think it's going to be really good.
Yeah.
Sorry,
is this stuff we can talk
about?
Yeah. I'm like, am I overstepping my bounds?
I sit on Vicente Fox's board again this year. Yeah. We have a board meeting that's in West Palm, my hometown, but I didn't go. I'm just really busy here with the move and everything else. But the new president, I think, has the right idea of what we're talking about here. It's legal. Yeah. He wants rules and regulations.
Sure.
But he wants it to be where entrepreneur in Mexico can open up a business. He's tried to pave the way to smooth it out with the cartels. I don't know what will happen there. I doubt it. He's given a blank pardon to all the cartel leaders. They would be allowed to grow X amount of marijuana, X amount of poppy. It had to be listed and registered and go through the country, which is huge.
Wow.
I know. And that's a president.
Wow.
But, that is
such a shift in mentality, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, come on. I got to find it. One of my favorite cartoons of the last couple of years is a spaceship, two aliens. The two aliens are talking to each other and saying, this whole planet is in a war over a plant. I mean, is that stupid or what? It can't get more ignorant. That's one thing I always say. Our government, one of the best things our government's ever done is demonize this plant. They were that successful, and it's taken us. It's taken us decades to start changing that mentality. And I see sometimes a congressman or some politician saying there's no benefit. Or they're going to go to heroin next. It's like you just want to choke them out. I mean, it's either this. It's either he knows he's lying, or he's getting paid by big pharma. There's something wrong with that thought process,
or he just doesn't care.
Yeah,
then
he doesn't.
Ignorance is bliss, right? He doesn't want to learn.
Yeah,
and really, unfortunately, it's until you see it, you might not see it. It's hard. It's hard to bury your head in the sand at this point, right? After 10 years almost, right, of what legal states have done and the success and just patient testimonial after testimonial after it's all the time. You can't turn on anything, right? Any sort of media, you can't turn it on without seeing some sort of success story. So if you're not, at least there's not a kink in the armor, right? You're choosing not to get educated, right? It
has to be,
and that's the problem. If you, Boner, and I mean, look at all the people leaving the federal government. Hey, now I'm in the cannabis industry. It's like,
I'm still waiting for Paul Ryan to announce he's on some cannabis board.
It's like when you had the ability to change shit, you didn't change shit. But as soon as you leave, now you're jumping on board. It's like I look at Obama and now his wife. Oh yeah, I smoke cannabis. Fuck, you had the ability.
How many people went to jail?
Yeah, under your 8 years, how many people went to jail? You had the ability with one pen stroke to make huge changes 8 years ago, and now you're a supporter? It's too little, too late, right? When are the people in power going to start jumping on board and really move the ball forward, right? And that is a way for the current powers that be.
Right.
You want to increase your approval ratings? Jump on the bandwagon for the most approved thing going on in the country right now, right? Be the guy who says, let's go, right? Let's make this an industry. Not only are they costing us the opportunity on a global scale, right? You said it yourself. It's, you're talking about mom and pops down in Mexico. I see it. I see it now as new states roll out. It's never going to happen like it happened in Colorado again. Right? Me and Rick, we had $10,000. We both scraped together $5,000 each to get a license, right? And we started this company with nothing, and we started with nothing, and guess what? We still have nothing. 10 years later, right? It's
you got a big building, a lot of food.
I got a lot of overhead. Yeah, it's like I still don't have a lot, but now it's $250,000 just to submit an application. Really?
Yeah.
Right? That mom and pop dream is disappearing in this industry, and it does piss me off. And I'm sorry to say it. It's just like there's the opportunity for for whatever, the guy making cookies in his kitchen, right? To make that a legal business. Those are going away. He can't get funding. He can't get financing. So I tell people, you got to partner up with the right people. Then,
right? If
you know the cannabis part, you got to partner up with the money people, right? Who partner up with the manufacturing people, right? And you got to build a strong team. And that's kind of the way it's happening now as it's rolling out across the country. But the way it started here, I don't think it's ever going to happen again.
It was a special time.
It was. It really was.
What I hate, like the 250,000 or the 150,000, is it's non-refundable. On top of it all, number one, you've spent probably tens of thousands of dollars to come up with the application, fill it out, hired the consultant, blah, blah, blah. Some consultants out there charge $100,000 plus. And then on top of that, whether it's a $25,000 application fee, when you lose, you lose your $25,000. I just
so when you're gambling with
so
that
many
kind of money, you have to already be rich. Right. You have to be rich to make that gamble.
I think one of the worst markets. Go ahead.
Sorry, we got a couple. So LS Love has a show, and Larry Reed's got I think it's called Man on Weed radio show, and they've got a couple of questions that I want to make sure that I ask.
Absolutely.
So Ellis Love asks, what is the average price per milligram in edibles?
Like retail?
I don't.
I think
I
on
don't know. I
the
would assume retail.
yeah, it depends on here we've got a pretty robust medical market still, and we've got the adult use market. I think most 100 milligram edibles now are selling between $18 and $20, pre-tax.
Yeah.
Right. On the medical side, we try to keep that lower, right, for medical patients, and then we're able to do higher milligrams, obviously,
Sure.
and we just came out with a 1,000 milligram product.
Is that a bar?
It's gummies.
Oh,
it's gummies that we've tried to make, affordable, right? That's
Right.
On the medical side. It's as patients' tolerances increase, right? They're just they're looking to get more for their dollar, right? So
Sure.
In manufacturing, right, not just cannabis manufacturing, it's the overhead and the packaging and the labor,
Absolutely.
Those are the expensive costs, and those are kind of your fixed costs. So if I can stick 1,000 milligrams in the same jar that I'm sticking 100 milligrams in,
Sure.
right, there's some efficiencies there. So we can pass those efficiencies along to the customers, right? And for a lot of times, it's we've been pushing the envelope, right? So we did a 500 milligram bar, and people were like, holy crap, a 500, now it's like 1,000, right? It just keeps moving up and up and up, right? Where it's kind of hard to be out there on that edge, right? Because you don't know what's going to happen. You don't know if someone's going to have a bad reaction.
Right.
You don't know, and in our quest to help the patients, right? Sometimes you got to stick your neck out there and see what happens, right? And every time we've done that, we've priced these things to where, right, you're not really saving a ton, right? If you want this, you're going to pay for it, right? Because we don't want it to just be, I guess we don't want to open up the door for any kind of negative consequences, right? So, and then we'll do it, and then someone just comes and just whacks the price, right? and they just start selling shit, and like, okay, well, now we've got to compete on price, right?
Right.
But we've been trying to do that now for the last several years, and we're still there, right? Like I said, we just we came out with this 1,000 milligram product. We want to make it affordable, and that's really the difference between the two sides of the market, right? The cannabis medical patients, they are educated consumers, right? They know, all right, if they got a 50 milligram piece and the 50 milligrams isn't their level, right? They know they're cutting it. They know, they know what they're doing, right? So the possibilities of becoming over medicated are greatly diminished on the medical side versus the adult use side, where you still have people, showing up and, hey, I used to smoke cannabis 20 years ago. Give me one of those bars, and you eat the whole bar. So, which is why we come out with all the microdose. Right? We've got all the 1 milligram products and 2 milligram products now, and 5 milligram products, and it's funny when I go to other states and I tell people, look, we've gotten this good that we can put 1 milligram in a product. Right, so if you want 1 milligram, you can take it, right? And you're not getting a psychoactive effect typically with 1 milligram of THC and 10 milligrams of CBD. But that's how sophisticated the market has gotten in Colorado, and I want to bring that everywhere, right? So I want to bring it to the people who, I'm afraid. Here, try 1 milligram. Well, I didn't feel anything. Great. Do you want to feel something? Try 2 milligrams, and then try 3, and see where you get to the point where you're like, right? And then it's not. I ate 20, and oh my God, I'm never having another edible again.
Yeah.
Okay, and I get it, right? We've all had those experiences, and with
whatever,
too high,
too
or
drunk,
too drunk, or too anything, right? That's how people work, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
It's like you push the envelope, and they go, okay, I got to bring it back a little bit,
right? Larry Reed asks, what do you think about Oklahoma happenings? Do you have any opinions about what's going on in Oklahoma?
There was a lot of movement. 3 or 4 months ago, right? Everybody, and it's kind of like died down all of a sudden. I actually reached out to a group that I've been talking to in Oklahoma today going, what's going on? Right? It was hurry, and then it's like, and I haven't heard anything for 5 or 6 weeks now. So I'm not really sure. Oklahoma seemed to be a state that just went go, right? Go, which is great, right? Yeah. So, they issued a lot of licenses, and, off it went. So, but I'm a little bit behind now because just I haven't heard a lot, right? For us, it's hard, because I'm trying to expand the brand, right? So my attention really kind of flows to where things are happening for me, right? Where licenses have been issued and facilities are built and there are plants in the ground now. It's like, okay, now I want to talk to you. Because I've talked to so many people who are, I'm going to get a license 5 years ago. Okay, hey, let's talk. And hey, I didn't get a license. All right, then I went to get a license. And then, hey, I got a license, but I haven't started construction. And, 2 years later, okay. And I was like, hey.
I didn't know how expensive this was going to be.
It's like when you get plants in the ground and you have a facility and you have a kitchen, now let's talk, right? It's like if you're going to be in production in the next 6 months, right?
Right.
There's just so much going on. I can't continue to spin my wheels for things that might happen 3 years from now.
Right.
So it's kind of hard to kind of manage your time and figure out where the possibilities are.
Because you don't know sometimes, like the Caribbean.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a little slower.
I was in Puerto Rico for 2 years, right? I was one of the first people down in Puerto Rico.
You remember the first conference we bumped into each other there?
We just, and we haven't even started production. I think it's starting this month.
Yeah.
Right? And it's been 2.5 years that I've been going down there.
Yeah.
Right? And I thought I was going to be the first guy in it's like, wow. Sometimes it just takes forever.
It does.
To get with the right group and to get things off the ground and to get things moving. And that's kind of the frustrating part about this industry is just the timing is, it never moves fast enough. Some things move so fast, and other things are like, wow.
And they don't sync up. They don't come in the right order in life a lot of times. No. When I was becoming interested in the cannabis industry and lived in a different state, and I was watching YouTube videos, and you were on some show that I saw YouTube clips on, like a reality show of.
Oh, Pot Barons.
Pot Barons.
I remember that.
Wow,
yeah,
that's old school.
Do you think
that was good though?
How do you think that helped or hindered you, like as you were developing?
Me,
that's the first time I heard the Incredibles brand was from this.
You know what? It's interesting because I made a very conscious decision back then to not give them a ton of access. Right? It was brought to me as this is kind of a business show, and we want to show the business issues that you guys are going through. And I'm like, great, because there are a ton of them.
Yeah.
Right? There are a ton of just day-to-day business issues that we're struggling with, and I would love you to be able to show, the people what's going on here. So I gave them very limited access, right? It's like, we got to let somebody go, oh, can we come in and film you firing someone? No. It's like, hey, can we come up and film you getting out of bed and going to play hockey and hanging out with your kids? No, it's not what I wanted to do, right? So, so I'm very limited on that first season. Supposedly in the second season that never came to air, I was featured a little bit more. But, I never wanted to kind of do the reality TV part of it. I wanted it to be more educational and kind of show people what we were going through. So I don't think I got as much exposure as a lot of the other people did. And I don't think it was as beneficial to me. It was beneficial, but not as beneficial as some of the other people who really kind of took that ball and ran with it and understood that it would really help their brand. I was afraid to do interviews for years. Right? I mean, and it, when Rec hit in, was it 2014, 2015, whatever? 14 is the one, January 1, right? Yeah. That was really the first time we decided to go ahead and start doing some interviews because, people were always reaching out. I'm like, I'm not putting my neck out there. We had Trip. Right? I'm like, Trip is a great face for the industry. Trip. But he was. He really was. And I'm like, that's what we needed, right? And I'm like, he's out there. I'll let him stay out there. I'll let him have that spotlight. And, so it took years before I was like, okay, I'm willing to kind of dip my toe in the water. And, then things kind of happened pretty quickly. The scary one, I guess Harry Reid came, right? So I was on, was it CNBC? I forget where Harry came and, did some interviews with us. And then they actually played a clip on Stephen Colbert.
Oh, really?
And that's the one that scared the shit out of me, right? Because they said my full name, right? It was with Harry Reid. And it was really a story about Harry Reid, but then they show my picture, my full name, my company on Stephen Colbert, and that's when my phone blew up. That's when people are like, "Bring, holy shit, dude!" I'm like, "Oh god." Yeah, that's the point where I got a little bit kind of scared and went,
Yeah.
"Ooh, all right." Yeah, and that one happened pretty quick.
Didn't want to become that well known overnight.
Yeah. You know, it's still hard. It's kind of like a game of whack-a-mole, right? I don't want to. I just want to kind of continually do what we're doing. I don't need to be out there in that capacity, right? I want to do what we're doing, but I really don't want to attract a lot of attention. I just don't. And
that's a beautiful thing.
As I'm sitting here.
Yeah, I was going to say. But we have 0 viewers. 0. No, but this is much different than
Yeah, I mean, in the industry.
Yeah, this is industry.
Yeah, I want to talk to industry people, right? And I want to help the industry, and I want to kind of help shape the industry. Mm-hmm. So I don't mind talking to industry people and at industry events, but do I want to be on CNN? No, not really, right? I don't. I don't know. Maybe I'll change my mind, but it's just. There's just still too much risk out there, right? If it was federally legal, great, right? Then I'll speak all I want, but I don't want to attract attention. I tell people I'm either going to be able to retire or I'm going to prison. Right? There's not a lot of in between at this point, and both of them are still very, very real possibilities. And that's what even after 9 years. People don't understand that. I'm afraid this whole thing could come tumbling down. You never know. Any minute. I mean, fuck, we were at the BizCon in Vegas, right? And cannabis just had all these victories, and then Jeff Sessions got put into place as the Attorney General. Yeah, you could feel the whole mood in that. There's 20,000 people that year, and that came out, and it spread through that crowd, and the mood went. Fuck. I mean, it took the wind out of our sails, and that was a scary, scary year or two, right? I was terrified what that guy was going to do. I
know, he hates us.
Fucking terrified,
He hates us.
And, the industry. And it was, I'm like, wow, out of all the people to put there, after all the success, right? We were like, holy crap, like 8 more states, and woo, and what? Who's the Attorney General? Wow. And just seeing the biggest industry event with all the industry people and just watch all of their faces go. It was so crazy, right? But that's it. It turns on a dime, right?
Yeah, it does.
It turns on a dime in this industry, and you go, woo, oh yeah, Yeah. I'm rich. I'm going to jail. I'm rich. I'm going to jail.
Or this. Knock at your front door.
Oh no!
Whether it's state officials. Federal officials, it happens to a lot of people in our industry.
Plus, it's just inspectors, right? It's like we're constantly getting inspected. It's like it's just never ending, right? And they never come in and go, everything's great. There's always, hey, you got to do this and that, and it's just money, right? Yeah. So,
this is fantastic. I mean, no, this show.
Yeah, this has been one of the most informative shows I think we've
really
had.
Really educational on our
thank you.
On our industry.
Inspirational.
Yeah.
Go spread it out, people. We're dropping knowledge here.
Yeah. Everyone share this video.
Please.
Let's do what Bob doesn't want to do. Let's make him really, really famous.
Wait, can I get that black bar to put over my face? No pictures.
No.
We have green tape. We can make you invisible.
Since you mentioned that, I felt so bad for the kicker. For the Chicago Bears. God. Did you see what they did on Facebook?
No.
Bird Box, I think it is, with Sandra Bullock. They have her with her blind going up to kick the ball. It was funny.
I hear that. Who was it against? The Eagles?
Yeah.
Yeah, like all the Eagles fans are putting money in his Venmo account.
Oh, really?
Yes. I know.
He knows he's getting fired. He missed 2 that game.
Yeah, but didn't he get? No, he was like the most accurate kicker in the league, wasn't he?
No. Well, all of a sudden, I think if you look at his stats for the last few games, he hit the bar 4 times in the last.
Oh,
like
days. Yeah, I thought. Oh, yeah, 6? He did hit 6 bars. I remember that. Yeah, throughout the whole season. Yeah.
So, God.
Oh, crazy. We're in the airship.
Yay!
I had to flip it on for a second. Well, I need to start driving to Kansas here.
Yep.
Woo! See you soon, Kansas Highway Patrol. I don't have any weed in my car, but I do have a German ghost named Dieter.
Yeah.
Nice.
And if you're in Oregon, Nevada, Colorado,
Illinois,
Puerto Rico,
soon to be back in California.
Right.
You got deals. Massachusetts, it's coming.
Right. Nice.
Maryland, Arizona, Canada, Missouri, Michigan.
Mexico, he doesn't realize it yet, but Mexico. I'll be the license holder there. Just joking, but yeah. They would love the candy bars down there.
Can't call them candy.
Oh, that's
Infused
right.
products.
Infused products there. Yeah.
I think we got deals right now in 14 states that are done or almost done. Yeah. So
good.
You said hopefully 2019 is going to be a big year for us.
Well, you know what? After 2019, you might be able to buy a new car. You know, get in another 14 states.
You suck.
I seriously tell myself that every year. I have a rear-wheel drive car. It gets kind of hairy in the
Oh my
Colorado?
God.
Come on.
The first time I was here.
This is the year I'm going to buy a 4-wheel-drive. This is the year.
Yeah.
Maybe 2019's that.
2019's our year, everybody.
If not 2020.
2019, everybody. It's our year.
It's got to be.
It's like the people in the Dust Bowl waiting, like next year.
We can grow crop. I know.
Well, guys, thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks,
Bob.
Love having you.
Thank you.
Just true honor.
Fun.
Good job.
Good show.
Thanks
Thanks
everybody.
everyone.
Bye, everybody.
Have a great week.
Talk to you next week.